is Truth to Power here on the award-winning 1017 The Truth. I am your host of Truth to Power, Kyle Wallace, here on the award-winning 1017 The Truth. And we are coming live to you from the American Family Insurance Studio at the Avenue in downtown Milwaukee. You can always call and text into the conversation by going to 833-212-1017. And you can also watch and stream us live on YouTube by going to 1017 The Truth on YouTube. That's 1017 The Truth on the YouTubes. Shout out to Rhea Riley holding it down on the ones and the twos for me here today. And shout out to you as well, Truth Nation. Now, I hope y'all had a wonderful and beautiful Mother's Day. Yesterday was Mother's Day, and now is the time for us to celebrate all the mothers that we either know in our lives, or the mothers in our lives, or those who were mother figures in our lives. But Mother's Day is always a time to, celebrate those who are mothers. Motherhood is something that's very difficult, very, very difficult. And so I understand for those who have brought life into this world or has taken over and stepped up as a mother, appreciate you. But for me, I did have Mother's Day for my mother, and Mama Wallace did what Mama Wallace always does. We went to Potawatomi Casino Hotel, Canal Street restaurant for their Mother's Day brunch yesterday. And the way that it works, we tried to get a reservation 2 weeks in advance. They were already booked. And so, since they're already booked, you can eat at the bar. And, Mama Wallace did what she did, made sure we got our spots. My baby girl, my girlfriend, I sent her early because I knew my people would be running late. And she kind of got to see my mom in action. I said, yeah, girl, that's the expectation that we have now. I got you in training a little bit. You see how Mama Wallace came in and got us all our seats? That's how you got to operate. That's what we used to. And so it's pretty fun to see and be able to enjoy Mother's Day yesterday with my mother and my family as well. But after the Mother's Day brunch, we also decided we wanted to go see a movie. And so we decided to go see a movie. And, the movie everybody's talking about, Truth Nation, it's Sinners. Everybody told me, oh, you got to see Sinners. Y'all told me here at Truth Nation on 1017 The Truth on YouTube. Y'all told me, Kyle, you got to go see the movie Sinners. You got to see the movie. You're Ryan Coogler, he directed and wrote the film. It's so amazing. And Michael B. Jordan. I said, okay, cool. Fantastic. What a way to hang out for Mother's Day and, being able to go see Sinners with the family. Now, y'all didn't tell me that I probably shouldn't go see the movie with my mom and my dad. Y'all didn't tell me that. See, I'm sitting here in the movie Sinners. Have y'all seen DJ Ricky Rhea? Y'all seen Sinners?
Oh, it's great.
Well, okay, would you want to watch it with your parents next to you?
No, absolutely not.
Okay, so that's what I'm saying.
Well, I am actually watching my parents on Tuesday. I'm taking them to go see it on Tuesday.
Oh, well, you a nasty one. Okay, because you're nasty. Something wrong with y'all. So I didn't know what to expect. Me and my brother took my mom and my dad to go see Sinners. I didn't know what to expect. So I'm sitting there watching the movie. Again, great movie, but all the innuendos and all the little acts, y'all didn't tell me it was rated R, and I'm going to have to come. Last time I seen a movie like that had that much explicit stuff in it, and it wasn't bad, but situations, right? Suggestive situations. My parents should tell me to cover my eyes. I wanted to cover my eyes without them asking because I just felt awkward sitting next to my parents as some of these scenes were happening, scenes in a cabin that happened, scenes in a bedroom that happened, scenes at a party that happened, some of the things they was talking about. My goodness, my poor mother, I don't need her hearing all that nastiness. And so, though it was a good movie, I would have preferred not to see it with my parents due to some of the suggestive language and actions that took place during the movie. Y'all could have told the player. Y'all should have said, yeah, maybe you don't want to see that one with your parents. Maybe that's not a Mother's Day type movie to go to. But 833-212-1017. It happened, and I enjoyed the movie, even though it was just, It was just weird. It was very, very weird.
I'm shocked that's the only thing you really took out of the movie, though. It's a really good movie.
I took other stuff out of the movie, too, but I was uncomfortable during multiple scenes in the movie. There were when he went to go pick up the big dude from the bouncer. He went to go pick up the bouncer, you know? He said something nasty at that point. I'm like, oh, my gosh. Cover my mama. My mama is a senior citizen. Don't act like it, but she's a senior citizen. And so I got other stuff out of the movie. I mean, if to be honest, I mean, there's a lot of different points I could have got from the movie, but when I watch movies, I don't really look for the deep message. I just look to be entertained. So I see there were some messages out there. I don't know all the little messages, but there are some messages out here. But overall for me, y'all, never again. Never again. My taking suggestions from y'all, Truth Nation. Never again. Y'all gonna have to tell me straight up. Do not go with anybody who is a parent of yours, because that's weird. I don't know about y'all, but that's weird. And the fact that Rhea taking her parents to go see the movie on Tuesday, they got some weird stuff going on in that family. There ain't no way in the world I'll be sitting there for no hour and a half. Zach, you seen the movie Sinners? Don't see it. I mean, see it, but don't go with your mama. See it, don't go with your mama. Your mama gonna be asking you, do you do that, Zach? Do you have those conversations? 833-212-1017. So that was my Mother's Day recap, holiday weekend. I hope everybody enjoyed their weekend. But now I want to get into the news and the information with the weekend recap right here on Truth to Power on the award-winning 1017 The Truth.
Y'all know what time it is. It's time for Off the Top on Truth to Power. Kyle, let Truth Nation know what you got to get off your chest today.
Truth Nation, quite a bit of news happened over the weekend here in Milwaukee. The first thing I do want to talk about is the tragic fire that occurred in Milwaukee this weekend at 2725 West Highland Boulevard on Mother's Day. 22 fire engines and 8 ladder trucks responded to a fire at a 4-story building that had 85 units inside of it, which did not have a sprinkler system when it was built because it was not part of the code back in when it was built in 1968, which to me is kind of crazy when you think about how far safety measures have come along and guidelines and protocol have come along. To think that when they built buildings in the 60s, they didn't actually have to have a sprinkler system put in that place because fires couldn't happen, even though fires have happened for years and years and years. So I think that was pretty interesting. But overall, sadly, 5 people have lost their lives in this fire, according to the fire department. But luckily, the fire department was able to rescue 30 people from the fire. And some people had to jump from their second floor windows. This is a very tragic and sad event that happened yesterday on Mother's Day. And you know, I'm praying and thinking about all those who lost a loved one, or praying for those who were part of this or have a family member or a friend or somebody that they know who was part of this, because you're talking about 85 units. That's quite a bit of families and people in the community that were living there. Shout out to the city for the fire department opening up a homeless shelter for them right up the street here off of North Avenue. And so just a sad situation. But last week, I ripped Mayor Cavalier Johnson and Milwaukee County Executive David Crowley for having fun around that abandoned boat in Lake Michigan, right? Like I ripped them both. I ripped Cavalier Johnson because, you know, it's costing taxpayers $55,000 to remove the boat from the water, and I thought it was gimmicky and tone deaf to joke about a boat wasting our tax dollars and our money when we have lead inside of schools, potholes that we're trying to avoid. Boom, 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 boom. That's the way some of us have to drive down the streets. And so I didn't appreciate that. But I can be negative, but also I can be positive. And I wanted to give Mayor Johnson credit for stepping up and supporting families and firefighters yesterday after the tragedy, because he was present, he was on scene, and he was being a leader. On Mother's Day, a day where he gets to celebrate his mother. On Mother's Day, where a day he gets to celebrate his wife. Because tragedy struck in the city came first. And that's the type of leadership that I expect, right? A mayor willing to be on the ground, a mayor willing to handhold with the city, a mayor willing to lead the community. That is exactly what we need. We need a mayor, when we have tragedy like this, who will get up and respond and will support and rally the community and the city to help people. Now, Milwaukee, when I think about this isn't a Milwaukee thing. But when I think about, you know, the white woman who used the N-word and raised almost $1 million, over $700,000 on a fundraising site to support her, I would hope that somehow we can help support these families who are now homeless. We can support these families who are in need. That is my hope that we can get from this. So when I look at the situation in the scenario that happened with the fire, with this fire that happened at this apartment, I hope that we can rally around those individuals in our community as well. The next story I have is state legislator. They're dumb. They're just dumb, stupid, right? One thing I hate is people who do not have a vested interest in the success of MPS students making rules and laws aimed at harming our students and aimed at harming our city. I really am very, very much against that. That's why I vote the way I vote most of the time, is because none of these politicians are perfect. Some of them want to get stuff done but can't get stuff done. But it seems like one side continuously has an effort to try to defund or try to harm or try to hurt students and communities that look like you and I, a lot of us listening here today. Now, if you guys do remember, there was the SROs fiasco that we had earlier this year where it took MPS over 400 days to get police officers inside of schools. We talked about this. They finally did earlier this year. Now the key to this thing, now the key thing is the city MPS, they had agreement, right? They agreed upon how they're going to finance and pay for this. And then finally we were able to get these resource officers in the part where they started training towards March. And then eventually be into the schools. Some are in the schools. I'm sure some are coming into the schools. But this situation with SROs, I would say that this matter is resolved and is old news, right? It's old news. We figured it all out. I don't understand what the issue is. We got it settled. We got it figured out. But for some reason, Republicans in the state want to bring this conversation back up. We actually moved forward. The city and MPS came to a resolution, be able to figure out how we're going to pay for this, and we want to be able to move forward. But whenever we try to move forward as a city, Republicans in this state always want to bring stuff back up, and they want to change the law that so if officers are not in the school in the future, they want to make sure Milwaukee loses 10% of our shared revenue. Yes, they're trying to take 10% of our shared revenue away if officers are not in the school. Now, I don't understand why they would try to attack our pockets like this over school officers. Making the city of Milwaukee, making the citizens, making the constituents of the state of Wisconsin suffer more makes no sense to me. But on top of that, these Republicans, because there's only Republicans who put this bill together, and one of them is Bob Donovan. We're going to talk about Bob Donovan. But they also want to have MPS lose 20% of its per pupil funding as well. Now, do y'all understand how that could already decimate a school system that needs more funding? A school system that already has large class sizes. Now, if you don't have SR security resource officers inside the school, you're going to take away 20% of their funding. How is this about advancing the students? First and foremost, yes, some people believe that we need to have these officers in the schools, but not at the risk of losing funding. It's absolutely ridiculous to have this be the type of punishment that you want to put. And it just shows exactly that they don't care about our students, nor do they care about our community, because these numbers are completely preposterous and there is a grotesque example of government overreach. Now, what bothers me about this story is that you have Republicans like Bob Donovan, who is looking for ways to hurt the Milwaukee community. He is a controversial figure himself, Bob Donovan. He needs to shut up, sit down, and legislate and pass bills that will uplift the little small portion of Milwaukee that he represents and the suburbs that he represents. Stop focusing on MPS. You don't even represent MPS in the majority of your district. So stop focusing on us. But for me, when I think about it, I guess somebody like that, I expect him to have a low bar of ethics because of the fact of some of the stuff that happened in his past. And since Bob Donovan wants to make bills to try to hurt the community of Milwaukee, 20% per pupil funding decrease for Milwaukee, 10% funding decrease, not getting our shared revenue. Let's talk about who Bob Donovan is. See, I expect something like this from Bob Donovan, because he is the same person in 1992 who was given a disorderly conduct ticket for a restroom peeping on UW Milwaukee's campus back in 1992. Now, according to the police documents, he was quoted saying that he frequented Mitchell Hall restroom for years for the purpose of either watching men pleasure themselves or to have sexual relations with men in the bathroom. Now, this narrative says Donovan was observed peeking through a hole the size of a nickel in a partition between two restroom stalls. He said, this gentleman said, I was occupying the stall that Donovan was peeping into. Donovan did this continually for about 10 minutes. Now, this is based off what Bob Donovan said. So this is the individual that wants to cut funding. So, Bob Donovan, I advise you shut up, sit down, and focus on uplifting the community instead of somebody who is trying to tear down our community. Now, Donovan also did say he was ticketed for disorderly conduct in 1992 as a result of an incident. The ticketing, he was embarrassed and did not pursue the matter any further. He said, in hindsight, I absolutely should have. As it was, I paid the ticket immediately and avoided further embarrassment because I simply wanted to put the matter behind me. Remember, Donovan did not contest this citation in court, and he paid a $93 fine 2 weeks after it was assigned in court. So to you, Bob Donovan, I suggest you focus on being a better human being and doing what's right versus trying to take away from our kids. Because I'll be damned if somebody who was accused and paid a fine for disorderly conduct inside of a bathroom to try to judge the city of Milwaukee and judge what MPS is doing and judge what our mayor's doing. How about you sit down, shut up, and keep your eyes focused on legislation that moves the state forward versus what you was doing in 1992. And I'll leave that at that. And lastly, there's a new Target store that is being built in Brown Deer in the strip mall around Brown Deer and Green Bay Avenue, where the old Kohl's used to be and where the Applebee's used to be. I'm excited for this. Now, the reason why I'm bringing this up that they're building a new Target, I don't support Target. I haven't supported Target since we had our 40-day fast. I guess I'm going on like almost 90 days of fasting for Target. I do not support Target. I don't buy anything from Target because Target does not support us. Now, the reason why I wanted to bring this up is because the big deal that Target is building a space in that Brown Deer area, simply because if y'all know anything about Brown Deer Road, if you keep going down Brown Deer Road, you eventually run into a place called Northridge Mall. Now, Northridge Mall got torn down just recently. They started tearing it down, and that is a place that needs to be redeveloped. So if that whole strip from Green Bay Avenue and Brown Deer all the way to Brown Deer and Mill Road can somehow be revitalized and redeveloped, that is a win for the community. That's a win for Milwaukee County. That's a win for Brown Deer. And that's a win for Milwaukee. And that's a win for us. So I'm excited to see the revitalization happening down that way. And hopefully it can trickle its way down as we try to revitalize that whole block of Brown Deer Road. So hopefully it can have entertainment for our community, jobs for our community, something for our kids to do as well. That was your weekend recap here on the award-winning 1017 The Truth. On the other side, Donald Trump has ended a debate we have had for years about him. There's a period. There's no more debating. It's finito. It's finished. I ain't debating nobody no more about Donald Trump. And I'll tell you exactly why I ain't debating this specific characteristic about Donald Trump, of why I no longer will debate you about this specific characteristic about Donald Trump anymore. And I'll tell you exactly why on the other side. Keep it locked. You're listening to Truth to Power on the award-winning 1017 The Truth.
More of Truth to Power is next on 1017 The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
This may be another Elon Musk bureaucratic shuffle, or this may be whatever it is. These, Dr. Ken, are real consequences.
This is The Truth Unfiltered with Denise Thomas and Dr. Ken Harris.
I believe that there's going to be a step back and a rollback to some of those places that we're talking about making cuts because of the drastic outcome that can occur.
Sundays starting at 7 on 620 WTMJ and Mondays at 6 on 1017 The Truth.
At U.S. Bank, when they say they're in it with you, they mean it. Not just for the good stuff, the grand openings and celebrations, although those are pretty great, but for all the hard work it took to get there, the fine-tuning of goals, the managing of cash and workflows, and decision-making. They're in to help you through all of it, because together they're proving day in and day out that there is nothing as powerful as the power of us. Visit usbank.com to get started today. Equal housing lender, member FDIC, copyright 2024, U.S. Bank.
Hi, Drew and Jonathan Scott here, reminding you that a lot of life's firsts are better with help from American Family Insurance. Like your first home expansion or your first big lightning strike. There's a first for everything. Get the right home policy at the right price with the right help from American Family's agents. Life's better when you're under American Family's roof. Insure carefully, dream fearlessly. Get a quote and find an agent at amfam.com.
Products not available in every state. American Family Mutual Insurance Company SI and its operating company, 6000 American Parkway, Madison, Wisconsin.
Experience some of the most cherished popular music of all time when the Milwaukee Symphony Orchestra presents Let's Groove Tonight, Motown and the Philly Sound, May 23rd through the 25th at the Bradley Symphony Center. Byron Stripling will lead the MSO and an exciting trio of vocalists that include Broadway superstar Chester Gregory, Ashley Judd,
Donald Trump's
and
administration
Liam in a musical sojourn of hits made famous by legendary talents such as Lou Rawls, Marvin Gaye, Diana Ross, and The Temptations. Songs like My Girl, I Heard It Through the Grapevine, and I'm Coming Out will come alive in fun and stylish arrangements that are sure to have you dancing and humming along in your seat. Let's Groove Tonight, Motown and the Philly Sound runs May 23rd through the 25th only. So lock up your tickets right now by calling the box office at 414-291-7605 or visit mso.org.
This is Truth to Power on 1017 The Truth app, and streaming live on 1017 The Truth on YouTube.
Truth Nation, what's happening? I had to tell y'all about Nick Cavani's and their $100 hookup. I know y'all saw my pictures from the NFL draft. I was looking so fresh and so clean, and that was all because of Nick Cavani's and their $100 hookup. If you've got a prom coming up for your kid, or you're listening, you got a prom, a graduation is right around the corner. It's graduation season for college students and for high school students coming up. You can get hooked up with your celebration suit from Nick Cavani's. You get a full shirt, you get a full suit, you get a tie, all for $100. Yes, a suit, shirt, and tie, all for $100. And it's not anything that's basic off the rack look. It is top quality, head turning fashion that you'll feel like $100 million inside of it. So get hooked up today at Nick Cavani's by visiting Nick Cavani's on the second floor of Mayfair Mall, or visiting them at nickcavani's.com. I'm telling y'all this right now. I had a great experience at Nick Cavani's, and I want y'all to have that too. It is Truth to Power here on the award-winning 1017 The Truth, and I'm your host, Kyle Walls of Truth to Power. And on the other side, I teased and talked about the fact that, listen, y'all want to debate about Donald Trump, right? I'm done debating about Donald Trump. There is something that happened over the weekend and something that is happening this week that ends all debates with Donald Trump. It's over. I'm telling you this right now. It is completely over. And if you ever find yourself debating about Donald Trump with anybody, whether it's a black person, a white person, a Hispanic person, a Republican, a conservative, a Democrat, whoever it is, the conversation is over. And I tell y'all this. Months ago, we talked about how Donald Trump was looking to bring white South Africans here to America, and now it is finally happening. A man who campaigned on getting rid of immigrants, a man who campaigned of saying immigrants were the evil boogeyman, saying they lessen this country, wanting to move past them and get them out of this country, the man who canceled temporary protection status of 300,000 black Haitians, has made a decision, which means these Haitians have to leave by August, but he has made a decision that he is going to bring white South Africans to this country as refugees. I talked about this about 2 months ago, and I was infuriated by this because I just could not believe that a man who campaigned on getting rid of immigrants was going to bring more immigrants to this country. Now, make no qualms about this, Truth Nation. This is what white supremacy looks like. This is exactly what white supremacy is. The white man in South Africa complained about losing some land, potentially losing some land. The white man in South Africa complained about potentially having some type of discrimination. The same white South Africans who terrorized the majority of blacks there, the same white South Africans who took over 90% of the land in South Africa, the same white South Africans that committed an atrocity in this world with the apartheid that they had in South Africa, that lasted until 1990. If you know how anything works, just because something changes in 1990 does not mean that all of a sudden things become good overnight. These white South Africans are now saying they need to be refugees because of the fact that they're potentially losing some land. And what makes this so crazy to me that Donald Trump would prioritize these white South Africans. Meanwhile, we have refugees who are living in war-torn countries. We have refugees who are being ethnically cleansed across this globe. We have different refugees who are being attacked by their government. But Trump is not helping them. And the Republicans are turning their backs against them. You have a genocide happening in front of our eyes on TV for everybody to see.
Donald Trump's administration is aiming to
losing their lives, and innocent men are losing their lives, having their bodies mangled. If you have followed what's happening in Gaza, any picture, image, you have seen an image of a child who is either injured in the war or a child who is deceased because of the bombing that is happening. And not once have I heard Donald Trump mention bringing any Palestinians to this country, and the whole world can see. The whole world is witnessing the genocide of these Palestinian people caught up in a war that they did not start. Donald Trump turned his back on them, but because they did not have the complexion for the connection, shout out to Liz Brown for saying that, he turned his back on those refugees, so many other refugees, and even the Haitians who are here in this country that he tried to demonize and said they were eating cats and they were eating dogs. Trump suspended the refugee program for everyone except white South Africans. So nobody in this world except for white South Africans can come into this country. This man is deporting black and brown people and bodies, but importing people who have a racist history in South Africa. 833-212-1017. The debate is over, Truth Nation. What I want to know from you all, if you agree with me, there is no debate. Donald Trump is a racist. He is a pure racist. Now, I already believed he was racist back with the situation with the Central Park 5, where he took out a I think it was like a $20,000 ad against the Central Park 5 teenage boys who were accused of murdering a woman, or excuse me, not murdering, beating a woman and raping a woman in Central Park. Then through DNA, they were exonerated from doing this, and Donald Trump still to this day refuses to apologize and still accuses these 5 black men of doing this. That was enough for me to think that if you voted for Donald Trump as an African American, you don't give a damn about your black culture. You don't give a damn about your black people. But the fact that he is now bringing in these white South Africans who have made up these false allegations that they're being treated a certain way, and all they had to do was make up something. All they had to do was say, we need help. And Donald Trump answered their call. Now, on the other side, Truth Nation, I'm going to tell y'all this right now. If you have seen some of these war-torn countries, if you have heard some of these stories of the government trying to do harmful things to citizens, just Google Myanmar and Burma. Just Google what's happening in different places and the typical refugees. He's kicking out Haitians that left their country because of an earthquake 20 years ago, about 15 years ago. And now he's kicking them out when they have made a home here, even in the state of Wisconsin. But the thing I want y'all to understand on the other side, we all know what distress looks like because we have all felt some type of distress. We all know what agony looks like because we've seen pain and agony before. On the other side, I'm going to play a video clip from Reuters that will have an interview and talk to some of the white South Africans who are in so much distress. The white South Africans that need Donald Trump's help. And I want y'all to be able to identify whether or not you believe this is a bunch of malarkey or whether or not you believe they are truly in distress. So on the other side, I'm going to play this video that I want y'all to see, and I want y'all to watch it. I want you to listen, and I want you to determine whether or not you feel that these white South Africans are at the risk of losing their lives. 833-212-1017. We come back. I'm going to play this article because y'all got to see it. Because I saw it and I said, oh, hell no. But I don't want to lead the witness. On the other side, go to YouTube, 1017 The Truth on YouTube. We're going to play this video, and I want your reaction to the white South Africans who are in distress, who need help from Donald Trump. They're being persecuted. I want y'all to watch this video and see if y'all get the same reaction that I got. 833-212-1017. Is Donald Trump a racist? That's what I want to know from you all. 833-212-1017. But on the other side, we're going to play this video of the white South Africans in quote-unquote distress. Keep it locked. You're listening to Truth to Power right here on the award-winning 1017 The Truth.
Truth to Power with Kyle Wallace returns after this on 1017 The Truth app, and streaming live on 1017 The Truth on YouTube.
Two Wisconsin icons are teaming up on a reworked classic. Cousin Subs and U-Zingers are proud to introduce the all-new fried bologna sub, featuring U-Zingers fried bologna, bacon, American cheese, onions, pickles, mayo, and mustard on fresh-baked Italian bread. And that's not all. Pair your fried bologna with a creamy cupcake shake topped with whipped cream and rainbow sprinkles. Now that's a better combination. Order both in-store, online, or via the mobile app. Cousin Subs. We believe in better.
Escape the city and relax at Lake Lawn Resort in beautiful Delavan, Wisconsin. Enjoy outdoor activities on Delavan Lake. Tee off at the lakeside Majestic Oaks Golf Course, or unwind at the award-winning Calidora Spa. With both indoor and outdoor pools, there's fun for the whole family. Take a cruise on the Lake Lawn Queen. Explore stunning shores and historic landmarks, and enjoy delicious food and drinks on board. Book your stay today at lakelawnresort.com, where everything is better at the lake.
It's 1017 The Truth's Dr. Ken Harris for Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin. There's no better time to upgrade your windows and doors than right now, because you can get up to 6 years of 0% financing at Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin. Yes, no interest for up to 72 months, and the full Pella experience is always included. That means the Pella team is with you from start to finish. They don't disappear after the work is done. Set up your free in-home consultation. You commit to nothing at this point. A Pella design expert will listen to your vision and then present the different colors, sizes, and customizations needed to make that vision a reality. It can feel overwhelming to consider what feels like limitless possibilities, but Pella's design team can help narrow those options down for you to create that dream upgrade. Hurry! Get 0% financing for up to 6 years. Certain restrictions apply, and the deal ends May 31st, 2025. So visit PellaWI.com today.
At Great Impressions Graphics and Printing, they've been proudly serving the community for over 26 years. From their location at the corner of 54th and Burleigh in Milwaukee, their dedication to quality and customer satisfaction has made them a trusted name in printing and design. Great Impressions offer a wide range of services, including banners, posters, yard signs, business cards, programs, and postcards. Plus, they specialize in custom apparel printing, perfect for family reunions, sports outings, business promotions, and more. For your next project, visit greatimpress.com. That's greatimpress.com. Great Impressions. They're here when you need them.
Great Impressions, perceptions, everything.
This Associated Bank Sports Update on 1017 The Truth is powered by ESPN Milwaukee. I'm Brandon Sneide. After losing the first two games of the series in Tampa Bay against the Rays, the Milwaukee Brewers are able to bounce back on Sunday, winning Game 3, this one by a final score of 4-2.
I mean, this environment is tough, threatening rain all the time, the mounts rugged. It's just a different environment than they're used to. So I'm proud we're in every game.
Over to the NBA, where ESPN's Shams Charania reporting that no firm decisions have been made, but for the first time in his career, Giannis is, quote, open undecided about whether his best fit is remaining in Milwaukee or playing elsewhere.
He is the biggest domino in the NBA right now. He's a 30-year-old in the prime of his career, and his potential availability is something that all 29 teams outside of Milwaukee are monitoring.
Also around the NBA, the Pacers taking a 3-1 lead over the Cavs with a 129-109 win, and the Thunder evening up their series against Denver, winning 92-87. This sports update brought to you by Associated Bank, proudly supporting your hometown teams. Member FDIC.
It is Truth to Power on 1017 The Truth app, and streaming live on 1017 The Truth on YouTube.
If you or a loved one is ever injured in an accident, y'all know what to do. Call Gruber Law Offices. I'm telling y'all, when I got in a car accident, I remember my back was hurting. But if my back didn't hurt right away, it took like a day or two for me all of a sudden to start feeling back pain. So I called the insurance company, and they gave me the runaround. They didn't call me back. And I said, what am I doing? Let me call Gruber Law Offices. That's exactly what I did, and they truly took care of me. They let me focus on my back healing while they focused on fighting for me, the client. So I'm telling y'all this right now, as it starts to heat up and starts to get more dangerous on the roads, want y'all to be safe, want y'all to be protected. But if anybody does hit you, get into an accident, you or a loved one get into an accident, want you to be healthy. But make sure you contact Gruber Law Offices, because they will fight for you, because they provide the best care, the best service, and representation is their priority. And always remember, you make one call, that's all. There's no fee for you to call them, consult with them, and you never pay a single penny until they win your case. So get the results that speak for themselves by teaming up with Gruber Law Offices today by contacting them at gruber-law.com or calling them at 414-276-6666. That's 414-276-6666. Tell them the dreaded brother from the Truth sent you, and they'll show you a lot of love. That's gruber-law.com. One call, that's all with Gruber Law Offices. It is Truth to Power here on the award-winning 1017 The Truth. And go to 1017 The Truth on YouTube, because I want y'all to listen and watch this video. Because, as I said before, Donald Trump is making an exception for refugees to come to this country, and the only exception is not refugees coming from a war-torn country, not refugees being persecuted by their government based off their ethnic ability, not refugees who are being, in countries that are being bombed, but refugees that are simply having not even their land taken, but simply having unused land taken away from anybody. Now, I want y'all to go to YouTube so y'all can watch this interview from Reuters, so y'all can see all of these poor people who need to be refugees and come to America. I want to know what y'all think.
Donald Trump's administration is aiming to bring the first group of white South Africans to the United States via its refugee program as soon as next week. 3 people familiar with the matter have said. It's a divisive move.
Thank you, Mr. Trump.
Especially given that Trump has been blocking refugee admissions from the rest of the world. 2 of the sources, who requested anonymity as they were sharing internal plans, said their aim is to fly the initial cohort of around 50 Afrikaners into Washington Dulles International Airport in Virginia.
It was like an answered prayer.
Life coach Katia Beeden is administrator of a website that seeks to help white South Africans take up Trump's offer.
We've been forgotten. It's very hard for us to travel. It's very hard for us to get visas. So to suddenly hear that a country like the United States is offering us refugee status was a really big deal. And I was so excited. I felt so relieved. It just felt like a lifeline.
In February, Trump issued an executive order that called for the US to resettle Afrikaner refugees. It said Afrikaners, who are descendants of mostly Dutch early settlers, were victims of unjust racial discrimination. The assertion that minority white South Africans face discrimination from the black majority has spread in far-right circles for years, and been echoed by Trump's white South African-born ally, Elon Musk.
I guess the key issue just to highlight is that none of this is actually true.
Political analyst TK Poe says the refugee scheme has created a false narrative that South Africa is a country going through some civil war.
And then secondly, within the internal borders of South Africa, it really has created a lot of division. It's almost as though President Trump has gone out of his way to sow internal divisions.
Violence against white farmers and a law allowing for the expropriation and redistribution of land are often cited as evidence of anti-white discrimination in South Africa. However, out of 26,000 murders in South Africa last year, just 44 were linked to farming communities, according to police statistics. Crime researchers say the overwhelming majority of murder victims are black. In addition, 3/4 of private land in South Africa is white-owned and not a single expropriation has taken place. South Africa's government has criticised Trump's programme, saying that it fails to recognise South Africa's history of colonialism and apartheid. It added that it's ironic that refugee status is being offered to people from the most economically privileged part of South African society. The average white household owns 20 times the wealth of the average black household, according to international academic journal The Review of Political Economy. Official data shows unemployment rates are far higher among black citizens.
As long as it's not here, you can go anywhere you want.
Trump's order also came after he'd suspended all U.S. refugee admissions, citing security and cost concerns. Thousands of Afghans.
I know it's a long, but I just needed y'all to be able to hear this. I just want y'all to be able to understand that this white woman who is a business owner is talking about how they're being persecuted. She owns a business. She's in a home. She's freely and openly doing an interview. She put on a Trump 2024 hat. The people in the beginning of the video were saying, "Thank you, Donald Trump." Y'all tell me if y'all seen another video of people who are being persecuted, openly able to walk on the streets without being harassed, beaten, or brutalized. It is an absolute embarrassment that these white South Africans believe they are suffering after they had to basically give up some of their land, and based off the report, they haven't even give up any land. It is embarrassing for Republicans. It is embarrassing for conservatives. It is embarrassing for Donald Trump and the administration. It is embarrassing for anybody who voted for Donald Trump to align yourself with this absolute asinine ridiculousness. I am a descendant of slaves. My father and my mother are considered Negroes on their birth certificate. My parents were born during a time where they did not have their civil rights. And these folks, these white South Africans, have the audacity to think that they're being persecuted. Meanwhile, they have the freedom to work. They have the freedom to own 75% of the land. And the mass people being murdered in South Africa are actually black people, but they believe they're being attacked. 833-212-1017. Trust me, I'm going to show y'all a video what it really looked like. But this is absolutely ridiculous, and this is why I said, Truth Nation, Donald Trump is a racist. It's not even close. Case is closed. The fact that all it took was for white people to say, hey, they're trying to take some of our land, even though they have not taken any of it. Hey, they're trying to take some of our unused land so they can reappropriate it, just like they do here in America, such as eminent domain, which they ran a freeway through many black communities across America, even up the street from the building I am in today. Nobody came to save the black community, but Donald Trump jumped over hoops to go save these white South Africans from living what I would say is their life a damn luxury. 833-212-1017. Winky Blue, you're on the award-winning 1017 The Truth. I know you got to be hot that he bringing these white South Africans in.
Hey, listen, if I looked at it and through the lens that you're looking at it, I would feel the exact same way. But see, Carl, I don't look at it through that lens, man. I see good game. And one thing about it is we are black people in this country are easy to get distracted. I'm wondering what's coming after that. See, all you got to do is go down on.
Listen, Winky, I'm sorry. I know there may be some coming in after this, but are you saying that you're okay with these white South Africans who have businesses, who have land, who have not lost any of their land? They're not the leading people dying in South Africa. Are you saying that you're not going to condemn Donald Trump for allowing these white South Africans to be the only exception for asylum seekers in this country?
Can I show you the lens that I'm looking at?
You know what's crazy to me is y'all got mad at Joe Biden for the smallest stuff. But when Donald Trump did something as foolish as freaking this,
what did I get mad at? brother, you want to beat me up, but you won't let me have the dialogue with you. I'm asking you. Asked me a question. I'm going to give you one.
I'm sorry, Winky.
Why did I get mad at Joe Biden?
No,
Joe Biden did not do a small thing. Joe Biden did something that we're suffering from today. Has not repealed the Crime Act or the Crime Bill of 1985 or 1994, and we're still suffering. It's still on the books. The courts, the judge, the racist court judge is still applying those guidelines to me and you and our grandkids and.
I agree, Winky. So that's why I wish you had that same. Winky, I agree. That's why I wish you had that same tone, that same aggression when Donald Trump is fighting to give the police more power to be able to continue to harass us in our streets. See, that's what I'm talking about. When you get mad over what Joe Biden did in the 90s, that the black community asked for back in, I believe, the 93, 94 crime bill. I want you to be as mad now that we ain't seeing any progress and that Donald Trump is trying to empower police to be able to do what they wanted against black communities. 833-212-1017. Muhammad, you're on award-winning 1017 The Truth. What are your thoughts on this conversation?
Hey, Kyle, thank you for having me, and great show today on plenty of different topics. But for one, yes, Donald Trump is a racist. However, we have a lot of us as well that, for some odd reason, agreed with Donald Trump, and then they just want to be blind to all these different steps. He took a move out of the book that they did in the South a couple years ago. I think it was 2022, when a bunch of black farmers in the South finally won their court case and were going to get higher wages. Well, what did they do? They took all these South African whites, hired them, and then made them their bosses. So this is... They're replenishing. They don't want to lose population, the white community. They feel like, well, these racist white folks, that's who's supporting Trump. They've been silently doing their agenda. These Africans now, these white Africans are going to be able to get Social Security benefits and all that stuff here shortly as well. I mean, it's sad, but it's a reality.
Yes, sir. I agree. Thank you, Muhammad. I appreciate you. 833-212-1017. Absolutely ridiculous. Just ridiculous. I'm telling you, white tears is something else. And shout out to all the people who are standing up against this mess. Miss Sandra, you're on the award-winning 1017 The Truth. What are your thoughts on this conversation?
Hi, Kyle.
Hey, Miss Sandra.
My thoughts is it's a big game. All this is plotted. That's what every authoritarian dictator do. It's the same old role that Trump and his gang Ku Klux Klansmen is playing, plus all our system, judicial, Heritage Foundation, these colleges that helped to write this Project 2025. It's all game, and he's using race to divide to win his game.
100%.
And you know what I think? I think in the end, all of them going to get caught. The very ones that think they're going to really get us, they all going to be on the same sinking Titanic. And another thing, Elon Musk got a lot of money. Why don't he pay those South Africans? Ain't he from South Africa?
You know, the crazy part about this is that, thank you, Miss Sandra, he is from South Africa. The crazy part about this is this. Usually refugees have to find their way to be able to get here, their flight here. He's paying for these 50 white South Africans to get here. This is crazy, the amount of privilege that they get. Simply because the color of their skin, all of a sudden their prayers are answered. They're not even being persecuted, Truth Nation. 833-212-1017. On the other side, I am going to play a video because I showed you the video of the white South Africans who were able to talk and, discuss their issues. I'm going to give you the opposite contrast of individuals who are truly being persecuted and truly need to become refugees. This is Truth to Power with Kyle Walls. Keep it locked. We're going to play one last video on the other side. We're going to wrap up the conversation.
You are listening to Truth to Power with Kyle Wallace on 1017 The Truth and The Truth app. Catch Truth to Power every weekday from noon to 1 p.m.
It's Dr. Ken Harris, and you can watch me now live on YouTube every weekday from 4 to 6 p.m., and you can watch the best radio show in Wisconsin by going to 1017 The Truth on YouTube. Watch me explore the issues which are shaping our community while also having fun discussions, pop culture, current events, all kind of stuff going on right here on YouTube right now by subscribing to 1017 The Truth. Milwaukee Black Talk is now streaming live on YouTube.
Ready to buy your first house, move into your forever home, or simply refinance? At Associated Bank, They've got you. With the right lending plan and guidance, you can achieve your dreams. Your financial goals are closer than you think, and Associated Bank is excited to help you reach them. Learn more at associatedbank.com/lending or ask a banker for details. Subject to credit approval, member FDIC, equal housing lender.
Need to look your best for a special occasion? You need the $100 hookup. This incredible deal includes a marvelous suit, shirt, tie, and shoes, all for $100. Only at Nick Cavani's, home of the $100 hookup. And that isn't limited to some standard stock suit. You'll be pleased by the top quality and variety of fashion offered at Nick Cavani's. No matter the occasion, maybe you're just ready for a fresh, new stylish look. Get hooked up today at Nick Cavani's in Mayfair Mall and at nickcavani's.com.
Experience some of the most cherished popular music of all time when the Milwaukee Symphony Orchestra presents Let's Groove Tonight, Motown and the Philly Sound, May 23rd through the 25th at the Bradley Symphony Center. Byron Stripling will lead the MSO and an exciting trio of vocalists that include Broadway superstar Chester Gregory, Ashley J., and Brick Liam in a musical sojourn of hits made famous by legendary talents such as Lou Rawls, Marvin Gaye, Diana Ross, and The Temptations. Songs like My Girl, I Heard It Through the Grapevine, and I'm Coming Out will come alive in fun and stylish arrangements that are sure to have you dancing and humming along in your seat. Let's Groove Tonight, Motown and the Philly Sound runs May 23rd through the 25th only. So lock up your tickets right now by calling the box office at 414-291-7605 or visit mso.org.
This is Truth to Power on 1017 The Truth app, and streaming live on 1017 The Truth on YouTube.
It is Truth to Power here on the award-winning 1017 The Truth. I'm Kyle Walsh, your host of Truth to Power. And we're having a conversation about how there is no more debate about Donald Trump being a racist. He is absolutely a racist, and he is proving it to us all the time. But with this right now, where he is supporting white South Africans to be refugees here in America, prioritizing them, meanwhile shutting down the program for anybody else from any other country, proves who he sympathizes with, and that is white South Africans. Now, I want you to go to YouTube right now, 1017 The Truth on YouTube. So I've played a video of white South Africans interviewing about the persecution, all the hatred they have to go through. Now I'm going to show you a video of what it really looks like to be a true refugee and living in a war-torn country. For those who are listening, you hear the bombs, you hear the yelling, you hear the screaming, you hear the footsteps, you hear the running. You didn't hear that with the white South Africans. You didn't hear the distress. You didn't hear the pain. You didn't hear the carnage. There is a difference. It is an absolute difference. So the fact that we have to have a conversation talking about if white South Africans should be coming to America, hell no, they shouldn't be coming to America on my tax dollars. Not a group that basically pushed black South Africans into poverty, forced them onto barren lands. They denied them land ownership for generations. They had an apartheid system in a country that was of mostly Africans, black people, and treated black people like second-class citizens on their own land. The people who persecuted black Africans from South Africa, the native people from South Africa, for years and years and years, tormented them for years and years and years. Now they feel like they are being targeted because of the land they are not using. The government is saying we want to have eminent domain on that land and we want to use it to be able to uplift our communities. Now they're crying out loud, saying they need some help, and Donald Trump is answering their calls. For those who voted for Donald Trump, you voted for a racist. For black people who support Donald Trump, you voted for a racist. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. You supported a man that doesn't give a damn about your black skin. That's all you did.
You should be ashamed of yourself, disappointed in yourself, because I damn sure am too. Very disappointed in you. He duped you and he made you a laughing stock. Because as y'all want to get stuff for the black community, he's helping the white community in South Africa. And for the other conservatives who voted for him, you should be ashamed as well. This has been Truth to Power here on the award-winning 1017 The Truth. I am Kyle Walsh, your host of Truth to Power. I appreciate y'all joining me here today. I'll be back tomorrow, but coming up next is the Tory Lowe Show from 1 to 4. Peace out. I'll see y'all tomorrow.
This is Sherwin Hughes from The Truth with Sherwin Hughes. And Truth Nation, you can now watch my show live on YouTube every day from 9 a.m. until noon. Yep, you can get 3 full hours of watching Sherwin doing his thing streaming live on